Hey, what's up, guys? This is Chris, and this is Elgin, and this is EC Money. Thank you so much for tuning in. And this week, something very, very special is happening. Elgin's actually allowed to talk. So with that said, pass it over to you, Elgin.
Well, I appreciate that finally. Well, it's our first episode of the end, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining here on EC Money. First, I want to talk about, before I even talk about who we are, I really want to talk about what our show purpose is and the theme is here. Our show's purpose is to really educate everyone on not just how to buy a home, but also about credit, finances, and just overall budgeting and just how to become independently, I wouldn't say wealthy, but be better off. Just be one step ahead of all the traps out there that exist. And a lot of it, quite frankly, comes from our mistakes, I would say.
Right.
So we can definitely help you out on that end, and then how we've gotten the knowledge that we have. And on top of that, the other thing we want to do is every week, since we're doing this weekly, is we're going to go ahead and intro the show by giving you what's going on in the market that week. So that's really what the show's about. But before we get into that, this week we're going to go ahead and get started on who we are and what we do. So Chris, you take that off.
Okay, so before we go any further, though, I think if we tell people that we will teach them to be like rich in the next 90 days, we'll get a whole lot more subscribers and clicks. So if you hit subscribe, you hit the like button and also the notification bell, Elgin will tell you how to get rich in 9 days.
9?
So my name is Chris Coburn, and I'm the owner of Coburn Credit Group. I help realtors, loan officers, and pretty much anyone really looking to improve their credit enough to purchase a home or reach any other financial goal. And Elgin here is a good friend of mine, and we have conversations all the time about credit, mortgages. We're like the two boringest, most boring people on earth because all we talk about is work. And we figured, hey, why not? I'm good at what I do. You're good at what you do. Let's figure out some way to actually bring this to the masses. So that's a short intro of who I am. And now, Elgin.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chris. So again, my name is Elgin. I'm the CEO and founder of what's called Ace Lending Group, and we're a mortgage broker company. And basically, we help people find the best mortgage for basically their home needs. And one of the ways that we go about that is by taking the time to really slow down and ask questions. None of this, what is that, 10 minutes and you're...
Turn them and burn them.
Turn them and burn them, 10 minutes and you're approved.
Yeah.
2 minutes and you're in the house.
Right.
1 minute and all of a sudden it all fell apart.
Yes, that's how it normally works.
So what we try to do is really, I say, peel the onions, peel
Right.
back everything, and truly dive into it so we can avoid all those pitfalls
Right.
ahead of time.
Right.
You know, and I think that's really brought us into light where we do talk a lot, like you mentioned, all about work. But
Right.
in turn, a lot of the times, I think what we run into is what seems to be, that's what we call it, Captain Obvious to us at times.
Yes.
It's truly not Captain Obvious. And then what makes it even worse is when we try to even Google the knowledge we have,
Right.
we can't even find the right answer.
Well, okay, I gotta give you your credit because you're the one. All right, so Elgin doesn't like to give himself credit a lot. So for you guys that don't know him, you'll get to know him, and he's extremely modest. The ones that do know him, you know what I mean. I mean, I could pull the painting, but there's too many other things in front of that, so I won't. But he's the one that taught me how to understand that what I see as common sense and common knowledge really isn't. Because I would have problems in my business personally where I would say something and it would go over the person's head, and I would honestly be a little bit upset. Like, how do they not understand this? And then he'll turn around and say, Chris, not everyone understands it the way you do. Not everyone does this for a living every single day. So that's part of the reason why our conversations always center around work, because he's always striving to make me better. And that's really what it boils down to. So the knowledge that we have that we don't necessarily see online, that's probably also misleading. We want to share that with you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I just try to strive to make you to understand it at toddler level, man. There's a difference.
Yes, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, I just try to keep it simple. But yeah, man, so that's really what the show's going to be about. But we are going to get into today's market.
Yes.
This week, absolutely, right after President's Day.
Yes.
It's been a little bonkers when it comes to interest rates. And really, everyone says bonkers, but it's not that big of a deal. But the media outlets make a big deal about it.
Right.
Rates went up.
Right, I saw that.
Rates went up, man.
Yeah.
What did they really go up? They really went up about a quarter of a point, 0.25.
Right.
Now, does that add up to money? Absolutely, depending on the loan amount, and it could be 30, 40, 50 bucks a month.
Right.
So it's not like it's not expensive. It
Right.
can be, especially over 30 years.
Right.
But at the end of the day, rates are still under 3%.
Right.
And we're still way, way below what the average rate has been in years, man.
Right. Sorry,
So-
I'm silent that. So go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, man. But as I was saying, so that's what the news been, and of course, this is, as people say, it's unexpected. It really is traditional.
Right.
And what I mean by that, it's traditional after an election,
Right.
after President's Day.
Right.
It wasn't like what made it unusual is the fact that we've gone record low after record low for over 6 months in a row.
Right.
That's what made it unusual. But the fact that rates went up after a president election,
Right.
not to get into politics,
Right.
but this last president that went out of office,
Right.
literally not long after he was president,
Right.
rates were at an almost all-time high.
Right.
No one talked about
Right. Because it's not politically expedient, but we're not going to turn this into a political.
it. Nah, it's not what it's about. So really, I guess where I go with it, it's rates are there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's still a great time to take advantage of the rates.
Right.
Okay. With that being said, the housing market, all-time low inventory, man. I don't know if you know, they say that if people stop listing their homes
Right.
in less than 30 days, there
Right.
wouldn't be a single home to buy.
I heard that. So what is it right now it's considered a seller's market, right?
It's a seller's market,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
That doesn't mean a buyer can't get a good deal.
Right.
Because where they're offsetting the deal is on the interest rate.
Right. That makes sense.
And when people are talking about living in a home, oh, should I buy now because it's a good deal or not?
Right.
The first question becomes, well, are you buying this because you're flipping it right away?
Right. Right.
Or are you buying this because you're living in it for a long time?
Right.
Because if you're going to live in it for a long time, it becomes irrelevant.
Right. Makes sense.
It really does. And we can just look at the last market crash.
Right.
If you bought in 2006, 2005,
Right.
and you were able to keep your home during 08, 09, and you never lost it,
Right.
I assure you there is like a 99% chance that your house is worth more money today
Right.
than it was in 06, 05, even when you paid supposedly sticker, all the money. Sticker, all-time high.
That's your car background.
That's
coming
my
out.
car
Sticker
business
price.
coming. Sticker price, you just pay window sticker. No,
Right.
but that's what it was, right? And then
Right.
all of a sudden, oh no, I'm underwater. I
Right.
need to let go of my house.
Right.
At the end of the day, you signed for a note
Yes.
and you had a responsibility.
Yes.
And that responsibility is that you agree to pay X amount a month
Right.
for 30 years.
Right.
If you can afford it, keep paying it.
Unless you got an arm, and then your payment was like $15 a month, and now it's $15,000 a month.
Yeah, we'll need to talk about those. We'll talk about fixed loans, arm loans.
Perfect.
Because we got to protect you guys. And the only way to protect you guys is empowering you with knowledge.
Arming you with knowledge. I like that.
I like that one. Empowering and arming you.
There you go.
There you go, around. You have kept you around for a reason.
All right. So the question I have personally is, you don't just get up one day and say, I'm gonna go buy a house. That's not how this works.
It's not how it's supposed to work. It's
Right.
unfortunate how a lot of people attack this.
Right. They make it seem as if it's just as simple as getting up one day and doing.
One day I'm, minding my own business, on the throne,
Right.
flipping through the phone. Oh, let me go to Zillow, or let me go
Right.
here, and then let me go just look at a home.
Right.
Let me just go look at $200,000.
Right. Right.
That's my imagination of what I think the average person does.
No, it's a fact. Anyone over 30, that's like what we, for lack of a better term, get off to, is like looking at Zillow homes and new construction and stuff. So.
But that's not where you should start. Can I tell you that?
No, you didn't.
You should not start there.
Really?
Not at all.
Okay, so we're gonna discuss that. So, what would be the first step? If I'm looking to buy a house, besides getting on, Zillow and just fantasizing about what I think I can afford, what do you think the first step is when it comes to buying a house?
All right. So it's going to depend who you ask.
Okay, I'm
If
asking
you ask,
the GOAT.
go. If you ask me, I'm going to call it self-evaluation or budgeting.
Okay.
As I mentioned, this channel isn't just for me though.
Right.
And it just isn't for them.
Right.
If you're reaching out to any of my friends who are realtors and
Right.
agents,
Right.
they're going to tell you step number one is getting pre-approved.
Right.
The reason they're saying that is because they're still really talking about self-evaluation and
Right.
budgeting they're basically just saying, hey, you might need help with this,
Right.
and a mortgage broker or a loan officer
Right.
will basically do it for you.
Right.
It's what we're really doing
Right.
if you get a good one and
Right.
you're not going through an automated system.
Right.
But what I mean by that is that we really got to slow down and figure out where the heck all our money's going, man.
Okay.
Today's society, and here's my, I say my weird brain, but the way I think and look at the world, all we focus on is how can we make the next dollar? How can we make the next dollar? How can we make quick money?
Right.
Everyone's an entrepreneur.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
Including us, by the way.
Right. Well, we're not selling flat tummy tea, but go ahead.
Not yet. I never said I wouldn't. But where it leads to on that is that the real first step isn't about how much I'm making, but what am I spending everything on?
Right.
And I call it self-evaluation because I like rhyming stuff, and I say health is like wealth,
Right.
and we got to go ahead and start with those savings accounts and not our expenses. Everyone talks about, again, what we're spending,
Right.
but no one talks about what we're not spending.
Right.
I haven't heard a single person on, what's that new thing? TikTok? TikTok?
Tickety talk.
TikTok?
Yeah.
I haven't heard a single person on that thing talk about, oh, I don't spend a dime.
Huh.
I haven't heard a single person brag about how they didn't go out this month.
Everyone's talking about that they're Forex investors driving Lamborghinis and Bentleys at 6 years old.
You know what? I haven't heard anyone talk
Yeah.
about how they make their own coffee at home because they can't afford a Starbucks, so they want to make their own coffee at home.
Right. That's true.
No one brags about that.
That's true.
And really, we have people in this world right now that by fact have made it to be millionaires. We wouldn't call it minimum wage, but literally being janitors,
Right.
being
right,
teachers,
Right.
having average, what we consider average jobs, and say we, I mean the world. I mean,
Right.
everyone would consider teacher not to be a lawyer, a doctor, like that.
They're underpaid. Teachers are underpaid.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Period.
for that, but there are teachers out there that have figured out how to be
Right.
a millionaire.
Right.
But it wasn't by working harder.
Right.
It wasn't by making more.
Right.
It was simply by saving. And so that's why I call it self-evaluation, because that means we got to take a deep look into what junk we spend on.
The uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah,
It is uncomfortable. So, all right. So that makes a lot of sense. But here's the problem.
it's a problem.
If I'm looking to budget, I will pull up a Excel spreadsheet and pick a template.
Ah,
for like,
it's awful.
well, see, that's the problem because people will do that and then they'll probably do it for the first month and then they'll just stop. Is there an easier way to budget, do your finances before, even if you're not even looking to buy a house? Is there a way that you would suggest to help people get their finances under control?
Absolutely. I mean, in today's world, there's plenty of apps out there,
Okay.
and they will really do it for you.
Right,
The one thing that app won't do, and no different again as I was picking on health,
right,
there are plenty of apps out there that will tell you how to do your workout
Right.
and how many times you should work out and how
Right.
many steps,
right,
but it won't physically do it for you.
right, right.
So there's
That'd be
plenty of
crazy.
those. Yeah, that would be crazy. Man, I'd be 7 feet tall already. Could have helped that one.
I know. All right, sorry to knock you off your train of thought, but go ahead.
No, you're fine, man. But really, the first place is finding an app you feel comfortable with. Here, just so you know, at Ace Lending Group, the company I own,
Right.
shameless plug, by the way, gotta enjoy those.
Right.
We have our own app.
You have a budgeting app.
We have not just a budgeting app, we have a budgeting/credit app.
Really?
All free.
Really?
Yeah. 100% free. It's called the Ace Vault. And somewhere down on one of these little descriptions, since you do all the editing stuff, make sure you
Yeah.
include it for everyone.
Well, I gotta see. You gotta show. How did I not know about this?
Because we talk about work, we don't talk about free stuff for you.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Good. Yeah. Okay. So your
That's
app.
easy, but it's called Ace Vault.
Ace Vault. Okay.
Easy to find. Just go to acelendinggroup.com.
Okay.
We have a whole little tab that says the word free tools.
Okay.
Got a bunch of free tools from mortgage calculators to the
Right.
Ace Vault, home estimators, bunch of stuff for clients who self-educate without even having to contact us,
Right.
because we know it's so uncomfortable to sometimes pick up the phone.
Right. Right.
And the nice thing is we don't get anything from them. We don't even get their email.
Yeah, and it's like if you have to call an agent to help you with your finances, it's like it's
Still self-evaluation.
Well, and it's also intimidating because you're like exposing all your secrets to
That's
somebody.
that's why I call it that, not budgeting.
Let me ask you another question. The app is free.
App's free.
So I'm assuming, and forgive me, we're friends, so you're gonna have to forgive me. That must mean that it's like super ugly and ad supported, and it's like just ads popping everywhere, or
Denied.
no ads?
Dude.
Okay.
The only ad
I'm
was
just
my
making sure.
shameless plug. That's the only ad, and you put in something on the description. But
Okay.
no, the ad's completely ad-free.
Okay.
All the information's backed by a third-party company. Obviously, I didn't
Right.
make it. But
Right,
It's called.
of
People look it up. It's called FinLocker.
Right.
They're actually highly rated, super vetted because they don't sell a single piece of information
Okay. Okay.
at all.
So we'll put a link to the Ace Vault in the description below. So that's pretty cool.
That is really neat. But the nice thing about it, it's all they have to do is log in, and then you start linking all your bank accounts.
Right.
And what will happen, like basically an hour or so,
Right.
all your stuff gets filtered out for you.
Nice. And it breaks it all down.
Breaks it all down, and then from there, all they have to do is literally say, I want to create a goal. And by creating a goal, saying, I want to save $5,000 in the next 10 months.
Right.
And it's going to say, get rid of this, get rid of that,
Right.
or nope, not happening.
Right.
It's going to take you, 18 months.
Right.
But it really takes that onus of you having to sit there and do that hard work of Excel sheet. We don't want to do it.
Yeah, of course
No one
not,
wants to do it. And then you got to do it again the next month
Right.
and the next month.
Right.
It's tedious.
Right.
So I think that the reason I enjoy that app, it does that. The other nice thing is instead of you having to, I don't know, we can talk about it, but there's another app out there that gives you your free credit. That's
No other apps exist. Now that we know about Ace Vault.
Perfect.
Nothing else exists.
gone.
All right, so back to Ace Vault.
It's fault. It gives them their free credit
Right,
report. Okay, so what it does nice with that is by giving them a free credit report, it now can also help them realize where they should also pay off other items so they can track those balances.
Right.
And then obviously baby step number 2, which we're not going to talk about today,
Okay.
we'll talk about next time, is what do you pay off first and stuff like that. And we can talk about that next week as well.
Okay.
That's definitely a whole nother game. But by far, before you even reach out to us, I would say, hey, look, you're not comfortable with it. Most people are terrified, I say, to pick up the phone because what if I get denied?
Right.
Hey, you shouldn't be.
Right.
Like, we're all human.
Right.
I've been denied at stuff.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Makes sense.
We all have.
Right.
We've made mistakes. Like, it is what it is.
Right.
But guess what? We learn from it, and now we're able to teach others what not to do and what to do.
That is the point of this channel, to teach you what you should do and shouldn't do. It doesn't matter if you're a realtor, loan officer, everyday consumer. That's the purpose. And Elgin, as I said the last video, had a lot to say today. And I'm happy about that because he's a wealth of knowledge. But again, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time we upload a new video. And that was baby step number 1.
Yeah.
So,
don't forget the most important one. Subscribe to the podcast.
oh yes, subscribe to the. This is like a video / podcast thing, and
We're getting used to it.
How you know it's a podcast is this is actually for show. It isn't actually real.
Just bigger.
Oh. So mine is bigger. Take care.
See you guys.